Most of the things we see here at Musikmesse are evolutions of existing products. It's very rare that you find anything as unusual or as plain weird as this spherical contraption here from Nu Desine, a little British company with some pretty big ideas. This is called the AlphaSphere, and Adam's going to tell us how it works. I mean, it seems to be a series of little elasticated drums, but it can act as an instrument or a controller. So where did you get the idea?
Okay, so I first got the idea when I was looking at music production software, and I just realised that there weren't any kind of hardware controllers that really allowed you to be as expressive as I wanted to be. So I grew up playing the piano, and I was quite familiar with the keyboard interface.
Yeah.
But the problem with it seemed to be, to me, that it was designed for a piano rather than for electronic music production. So there's only about a kind of millimetre of expression, and even with Aftertouch, you can't really carry on wobbling and distorting the sounds without something like a mod wheel, and that didn't feel as hands-on as I kind of wanted to be with electronic sound.
So how did you go about developing this particular transducer, because it's quite novel?
Yeah, well, we looked at a number of different things. So we started off looking at smart materials, which actually turned out to be not quite as smart as it might sound, and then after basically getting things wrong for a number of months, we started looking at some other kind of sensing technology and some kind of depth sensing technology, and started to have some results that were reliable and workable, and then eventually built a new interface which you can see and hear here on the instrument.
So the instrument feeds the software, and the software routes the information to your existing software instruments?
Yeah, so it can either route into kind of soft synths, or it can route into different kind of VSTs and different plugins, but it's essentially, the software itself is standalone, and it routes into whatever you want to, and within the software itself you can record samples, and you can record, assign sequences as well. So when I say you can record samples, I mean you can just drag and drop them into the software, rather than, it doesn't actually act as a kind of recording device, although you can use it to kind of ultimately put a track together. You might want to use another kind of DAW to actually record that.
Yeah, and in your example here, you've got it running in Logic, feeding some of Logic's own instruments, I think.
Yeah, so it's running into some of the sounds that you can hear are running into. That's actually running into Sculpture, and the great thing about a synth like Sculpture, which is a physical modeling synth, is that it's designed around a kind of concept of a string. It's designed around physics. So the way that you can use to affect that is really, really dynamic and interesting, and if you play around with those kind of synths, I think you can get some really interesting results, as you can kind of hear already.
So show us a little more about the kind of control you can get with this that you can't get with a regular keyboard.
Okay. So if you listen there, you hear that you can kind of really carry on wobbling, messing around, and twisting around with the sound. And it's quite. I mean, you can kind of just carry on mashing your hand around forever, really, rather than, a keyboard itself is really for a piano, so it's a felt hammer. It would be a felt hammer hitting a steel string, rather than being, any kind of electronic parameters that you could choose to assign or define.
seems to have a lot of potential, so when are you hoping to get this into production?
So we're just about to enter into production, essentially. Like, we've been here kind of meeting a lot of different distributors internationally who are interested, and like a lot of potential customers. And we're looking at running we've kind of opened a pre-order book, and we're going to produce the first 100 ourselves and sell them directly, so you can buy them from us. And that's going to be an international process. And after that, there'll be, you'll be able to buy them either from distributors or directly from retailers. So like, we're talking to both distributors and retailers, and we're aiming to have them in the shops by the end of this year, because that'd be ace. But if not, then next year, or we're moving as quickly as we possibly can be, yeah, we're looking forward to other people being able to get their hands on them. Having said that, we're open to alpha testing at the moment, and we're testing the controller, testing the instrument itself, testing the software, and we're always open for people to come and actually just have a go and mess around in our site, which is in Bristol, in the UK. And we'd be quite excited to see what anyone can come up with as an alpha tester.
Thanks, Adam. Well, it seems to have a lot of potential, so as soon as you have one in reviewable form, please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. It's good to meet you guys.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers.